So I just got a pulse on the shoulder. Notice the mark on my upper arm where you'd normally get needles. That's where I get pulsed all the time. Notice there's a swelling there. Where all the marks are, there's a bit of a swelling. And it's a little bit darker. That's where I get pulsed all the time. Notice the swelling on that arm. The marks. It's a little bit swollen. Notice the RF reading. My thighs are being pulsed. My back is being pulsed. And you notice the EF reading is not in the thousands. Now, if I put my hand on the detector, suddenly it goes up. Take the hand away. Put the hand on. So that's my hand. Notice the increase. Again, if you look at my other videos, you'll see the consistency of that happening. So the RF reading just went to 30. So I'm getting pulsed in the arm. The RF went up. Right where those dark marks are. Those are microwave burns. Went up again to 15. That's another pulse. Those are not freckles. Those are microwave burns. 30, another pulse. And that 30 was accompanied by a knock from above. We're directly above my unit. That was a pulse on the back. The RF went to 15. That was a pulse in the lower hip. Just got a pulse on the thighs. Notice the RF readings are all over. Just got a pulse on the, and that was a pulse. That resetting right there, there was a pulse. So this is how your batteries run out of power, because the device itself is being pulsed repeatedly and it drains the batteries. So the battery on my phone, which is supposed to last a day or two, like 2 days without heavy use, just lasts today. It dies. It drains the battery. And I kept replacing batteries in my car too. So I'm getting pulses into the neck. Keeping somebody servile. Sting on the foot. And somebody's in loading dock knocking. So more than one person is logged on. So it goes from 7 to 12, 14. RF. The shoulders are being pulsed. The head is being pulsed. And was that 16 there? All the way down to 3.7. Pulse on the upper arm. Pulsing still. Pulse on the other arm. The shoulder and upper back. Constantly being pulsed. And it reflects on the constant changes in those numbers. So the RF number is sudden pains. When the EF is high, it's consistent burning pain at a lower intensity. So hand, notice how the EF reading goes up, but the RF reading is in the same range. Take the hand away. So the hand is tagged at a very high power. So now it went up to 18. Put the hand back on. Sit on the chest. And when the RF reading goes up high, you instantly start feeling anxiety. And you can actually research this. And I'll post a link. There are frequencies that's specifically designed to make you feel anxious and make you panicky. It puts you in panic mode. Keep in mind, everything is frequency, right? Everything is a frequency. Your very body is a frequency or a combination of a set of frequencies. So every emotion is a frequency. So if you can pulse signals into your body, you definitely can run the frequency that causes anxiety, panic, depression into your brain remotely. Can you imagine when we get brain chips in, what is possible? We're not going to be human beings anymore. We're going to be robots. Easily managed robots. Scientifically managed robots. Jose Delgado's experiment with the ball. And if you Google Jose Delgado, Jose Delgado, Delgado, he did an experiment. Of course, he's Spanish. And he he espoused, he espoused, that's not the right word. He talked about, now that was a completely wrong word. Where did that come from? Anyway, Delgado talked about controlling people remotely, scientifically. And he did experiments where he remote control a bull. And you can research that. I'll post a link. Well, I think we're there, folks. We're there. It's been coming for a while now. Targets have been talking about being experimented on for 30 years. So there's a lot of unwitting experimentees who were talking about being experimented on. And of course, was being disposed of by being called mentally ill or just locked up or killed off, basically, with one of the experiments. Rohini Besesa talked about being experimented with. She talked about not having any privacy. She talked about hearing voices. Hearing voices, and let me make it clear, I do not hear voices. But Rohini Besesa talked about hearing voices. The easiest thing to do with microwaves is to put a voice in your head. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. So if she's talking about being experimented with, and then she's saying that she's hearing voices, then putting voices in her head was one of the experiments, I suspect. She did not have schizophrenia. And if she was chipped, she was being roboticized. And if she was being roboticized, then her hand would have been manipulated remotely to use a knife. And her brain could have been remotely manipulated to make her do what she did. It's very easy, folks. It's extremely easy if you chip somebody in their brain. It's extremely easy to put voices in your head and to manipulate your hands to use a knife against somebody. Extremely easy. Now, in Rohini Besesa's case, she was abused. She was, as a child. And it's unfortunate that she did not have a spiritual background to pull her through. And she came here when she was young, like 3 years old, I think. I came here when I was going on 17 with a very deep spiritual background, inherited and practiced to a certain degree. So that made all the difference in the world. And I had my family support up to a point. And that point was when PK and the Chinese traffickers in the building gave my brother the file that they accumulated about me by setting me up, framing and lying and putting fake videos together and passing it on to my family. And then opening me up and have them look at me inside my bedroom. And when my brother saw me masturbating, according to the comments outside the window, he thought I was a prostitute, which they painted me as. So this is one really deep conspiracy going on at 25 Bamberg Circle by PK, who is openly going around telling people that he's working for the highest of the high. And he wants to play with people as they sleep at night. So this is what happened. Until that point, I had my family's support. So I was lucky that way, and I was not abused as a child. So makes a huge difference in how you deal with situations that comes about in your life. And this is not something that happens in everyday living. This is an experiment being carried out, an inhumane, and the words describe how evil it is, experiment that's being carried out on innocent kids And there is no way that they would be able to survive it. They will not survive. And Rohini Besasa, I suspect, is one of these people. She was being cannibalized, and she was disposed of, first mentally and then physically. In other words, she was pulled out of the way. They got her out of the way. When she started asking questions, extremely intelligent person, they made her out to be to look like she was mentally ill, and disposed of her. Now, I'm basing my conclusions on the facts that I put together. I do not hear voices, and there is absolutely no paranoia. PK leaving several messages on my phone is not a sign of paranoia, as I am being stalked. So obviously that is a cover up and it's a lie being told by the cops who are involved. So there is no paranoia and there is no mental illness in my case. And it's well documented. I'm documenting the signals. I'm documenting the symptoms of the signals. I'm documenting the stalking. So if somebody shows up at my door and pull me out and you never hear from me again, you would know what the truth is. This is the truth. And it's not only being done to me. The active denial system is using millimeter wave technology. The 5G system that's being rolled out uses millimeter wave technology. The effects are the same. You put antennas close to you and you boost the signals, your skin is going to burn. You're going to have heart palpitations. You're going to have arrhythmia. You're going to have heart attacks. You're going to get clots. You're going to get aneurysms. You're going to get strokes. It's that simple, folks. Doctors, engineers, scientists, people in the telecommunications industry who deal with this with the technology, they are all saying the same thing. The least we should have had was disclosure, discussion and disclosure of the 5G system and its effects.